Hey there. In the Python operator series, today I am going to discuss about the identity operators. There are only two identity operators, as you can see it over here. The first one being is and the second one being is not. And at the end of this video, there is one bonus tip for you. So without any further ado, let's get going. I am going to do everything here into the Jupyter notebook, and I have zoomed it so that those who are watching it on mobile, it is comfortable onto their eyes. Let's get going. In the interest of time, I have already written the codes here. The first line being, I am defining here two integers a and b, and both of them have been assigned the value 10. And when I am running this code, a is equal to b and a is b, both of them are giving me true. Both this equal to and is are not one and the same thing. So I will be discussing in a minute what is the difference between these two. Now here a and b, there are two stars. So both of them have been assigned value hello. Again here I am getting 2. But the moment I introduce a white space between the two stars, here you see hello world. Now you will be surprised to see a is equal to b is still true, but a is b, now that turns out to be false. So now it is a good time to discuss about what is the difference between this is equal to and is operator. This equal to sign, it is an equality operator. It checks whether the elements in the two, whatever you are comparing, whether it is lists or stars or tuples or sets, whether they are one and same or not. And whereas this is, it compares whether these two objects a and b, they are referring to the same memory or not. In the world of Python, everything is an object. Python being an object oriented language, everything is an object. So a and b, these are two objects. So if both of them are referring to the same memory, then a is b is always going to be true, otherwise it is false. Now the question is, how do we check whether these two objects are referring to the same memory or not? Moving on here, I have got two lists, list 1 and list 2. Both of them are having three elements, 1, 2 and 3. And again I am trying to print the same stuff. Print list 1 equal to list 2, which is obviously true here. But list 1 is list 2, it is false. And is not is just opposite of it. So if I just make it on comment 8, then list 1 is not list 2, it turns out to be true. Now as I said in the previous block when I was discussing this star, so both list 1 and list 2 here, just like a and b, these are different memory objects. So now if they are pointing to the same memory in Python, then this line is going to output you true, otherwise false. Now the $1 million question is that how do we check what is the memory where this list 1 and list 2 is referring to, or a and b are referring to? Easy. We can use id function list 1, and similarly I can write here list 2. Here you see list 1 is referring to this ending with 568 memory location, whereas list 2 is referring to the memory location ending with 160. Similarly we can check it over here. Print id a and print id b. Here you see again different. If I come over to the integer part here, print id a and print id b. Here you see both of them are referring to the same memory location ending with 1400, and therefore a is b is giving me the output true. But in case of these stars separated by a white space, or list 1 and list 2, it is not the same, and that is why list 1 is list 2 is false, and list 1 is not list 2 is turning out to be true. Similarly with the tuples you can see true and false. Same with the sets. And now some interesting stuff. If you see it over here, I have defined two lists. One is 1 2 3, and I am creating another list and I am assigning it the value of list 1. So if I go over here and print lst1 and print lst2, and let me make it a comment for the time being, you will see both of them are one and the same thing. But now if I try to check here, list 1 is list 2, it is saying me true. What does it mean? Now what I am going to do is that in the list 2 I am going to append 4. So what do you think is going to be the output here? Yeah, oh okay, I need to print list 2 here. Here you see it is 4. 1 2 3 and 4 both are there. Now if I print list 1 as well, you see 4 is appended into both the lists. So far so good, which is the common knowledge. If we are equalizing two things, a is equal to b, and if we are increasing b by 1, so then a is also going to be incremented by 1. That is a common mathematical thing. But wait here. Yeah, now let me cut this part and bring it up above here, and then here also you see in this block list 1 is equal to 1 2 3, but here I am using a copy function to copy the list 1 and assign it to another variable called list 2. Now let me print it. List 1 and list 2 both are one and the same. You see it here. Now here I am creating again a list 1 1 2 3 having 3 elements. Now I am creating another variable list 2 where I am copying the list 1 using the copy function. And now let us try. Let me make all these things a comment for the time being, and let us print what is list 1 to list 1 and list 2. You can see list 1 is 1 2 3 here, and so is list 2. So far so good. Now if I try to append 4 into list 1, into list 2 here, now what do you think it is going to be list 1 and list 2? Here when I appended, I was getting the same output 1 2 3 and 4. Let us see here. Wow, so list 1 is still 1 2 3 here you see, but list 2, it has got now an additional element at the end, that is 4. What does it mean? That when I appended 4 into list 2, it did not reflect into list 1. How come that is possible? Okay, but before that, let us see what are the memory locations where these two lists are referring to. So if I go and check here, if you see here, both the lists are list 1, it is ending with 8192, and list 2 is referring to a memory location ending with 9952. So they are referring to the different memory locations here when I am using the copy function. It means that whatever changes I am making into list 2, it is not reflecting into list 1. The opposite of it is also true. Here you see, again I have got the same line of code 1 2 3 list, that is list 1. List 2 I am creating using the list 1 dot copy, and here this time I am appending 4 into list 1. Now let us check the output here. So this time list 1 has got an additional element 4, but list 2 is as it is. Both the cases here are one and the same. It means that both the lists are referring to the different memory location. We can check it using id function as well here also. So if I go and put it over here, you can see very clearly both of them are referring to different memory locations. We can check it out very easily using these two here. So when a and b are, in case of this, if I am using something like this equal to for our assignment operator, then a and b both are referring to the same memory location. So therefore any changes if I am making into either of these two objects, it is getting reflected into another one. It is like in the movies where you see there are twin brothers, and if you are hitting one twin brother, then the other is also getting hit, something like that, you can understand. But the other case is that A and B are referring to the two different distinct memory location and are independent of each other. So any changes made into one of them is not going to reflect into another of them. So that is it. Same is the case here. Again, list 1 having 3 elements 1, 2 and 3. Now I am assigning whole of list 1 to the list 2 and appending 4 into list 2. And if I try to print list 1 and list 2, again list 1 is not impacted, whereas we have got 4 at the end of the list 2. Again, what does it mean is that here also these two lists are referring to the different memory locations, and the same is the case over here. If I am appending in list 1 here, it is not getting reflected in list 2. So it is just like what I said here. Both of these lists are or objects are referring to the different memory location, therefore they are independent of each other, and changes made into one of them does not reflect into another. Now the time for the bonus tip. Let us come down over here. Here you see I have got A is equal to 10, B is equal to 10, and I am going to print A is B. Okay, obviously true. So far so good. Now I have assigned 257 to A and 257 to B also, and I'm going to print A is B. What could be the answer? Let's check it out. Wow, 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 false. How come that is possible? Okay, so the simple answer is that it turns out that for better memory optimization, Python allocates small integers. If they are small integers, the same memory location. If they are same, if their value is same, then it is going to allocate them same memory location. And this is true from -5 till 256. So if I go and change it, let me copy this line of code over here and put it something like this. So if I make it -5 here and also -5, it is still going to hold true. But the moment I make it -6, both of them, it is going to turn into false here. So -5 including 0, -5 through 256, Python is going to allocate the same memory location for different objects if their values are same. Interesting. So this is it for this video. If you find this video useful, consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to upload all these codes onto my GitHub page, and I will share the link into the description box. Till that time, happy coding.